Stop eating red candies until you watch this. This $100 million mega factory crushes billions of insects every single year to create the secret ingredient hidden inside your favorite snacks and luxury makeup. But how does a gross bug become a tasty treat? Let's go to the source. Welcome to the source, a sprawling red-gold plantation where millions of cacti are grown solely to feed these bugs. Navigating these fields is dangerous work. The thorns are razor-sharp and the heat is unforgiving. The farmers here don't look for fruit. They scan the pads for the telltale fuzzy white infection of the Cochineal beetle. Harvesting is a delicate art, brushing the insects off gently to keep their precious cargo intact. As they fall, a cloud of protective waxy dust separates from the colony, looking like desert snow. In the basket, they look like gray pebbles, but these tiny bodies are packed with carminic acid.
Bring the crates over here.
It takes 70,000 of these individual beetles to produce just 1 single pound of red dye. Once harvested, the clock starts ticking. The bugs must be moved quickly before they start to spoil. Inside the drying shed, the harvest is poured out. The preservation process begins immediately. If you listen closely, you can hear the unsettling sound of thousands of tiny legs scratching against the wood. Over the next few days, the moisture evaporates, locking the pigment inside the exoskeleton. Some traditional farms still use the intense desert sun to bake the beetles, darkening their color. Once fully dried, the beetle becomes a brittle shell, hard enough to snap under the pressure of a probe. Workers shovel the dried husks into export sacks, preparing them for a journey across the world. Sealed tight, these sacks of dead bugs are now a valuable commodity, ready for industrial processing. Leaving the primitive desert farm, the raw material heads toward the high-tech heart of the operation. We arrive at the biopigment factory, a stark contrast to the dusty fields we just left. Here, the scale changes from baskets to tons as trucks back into the intake bay. Heavy machinery takes over, lifting pallets of nature's raw product into a sterile environment. Inside, the facility looks more like a pharmaceutical lab than a dye plant, maintained by technicians in full protective gear. The process starts by slicing open the sacks, releasing the dried beetles onto the automated line. From here on out, human hands rarely touch the product as it travels toward its transformation. At first, powerful vacuums strip away the field dust and loose wax that accompany the harvest. What remains is pure, high-grade organic material, polished and ready for inspection. Even with automation, a human eye is the final failsafe to ensure no contaminants slip through. The clean beetles are fed into the maw of the industrial hammer mill, the loudest machine in the factory. Inside, spinning steel hammers spinning at thousands of RPMs obliterate the dried insects. The impact is instantaneous, shattering the gray shell to release the deep red pigment hidden within. The result is a fine maroon flour, pure pulverized beetle bodies piling up in the collection bin. This powder is worth its weight in silver, glittering under the harsh factory lights. Robotics take over the heavy lifting, moving the dangerous particulate toward the extraction zone. Technicians lock the transfer hoses into place, ensuring a hermetic seal against spills. Technicians lock the transfer hoses into place, ensuring a hermetic seal against spills. The powder is pumped vertically, rising 2 stories up to the top of the extraction reactor. Below lies the massive stainless steel vat, the cauldron where the alchemy will take place. A blast of air forces the beetle dust into the tank, creating a momentary cloud of potential color. With a single button press, the automated boil cycle begins, bringing the system to life. Scalding water jets strike the powder, instantly creating a thick, dark, organic sludge. Giant blades churn the mixture, ensuring every particle is soaked and ready to release its dye. Through the sight glass, it looks like dark mud, but the chemical extraction is just getting started. Ammonia is injected into the mix, a crucial step to pull the carminic acid out of the biological material. The reaction is violent and beautiful, shifting the color from muddy brown to a shocking electric red. Yet steam vents from the reactor as the temperature and pressure reach critical levels. A technician draws a sample to check the progress. Timing here is everything. In the glass pipette, the liquid glows, a sign that the extraction has been successful.
Batch
Microscopic
approved.
analysis confirms the pigment density is high enough to move to the next stage. With the batch approved, the command is given to drain the reactor. The main valves crack open, releasing tons of the precious liquid. The filter press squeezes the liquid through tight membranes, trapping the solid shell remains. It flows like a river of blood, heading straight for the filtration banks. The resulting liquid is clear, bright, and incredibly potent, stored in holding tanks like fine wine. To turn liquid into solid pigment, we add alum powder, a binding agent. This triggers a chemical reaction known as laking, where the dye bonds to a metal salt. Heavy red flakes begin to snow down through the water, settling at the bottom of the tank. Over several hours, gravity does the work, separating the pigment from the water. The water is decanted, revealing a thick, vibrant paste known as carmine lake. Workers scrape this dense paste from the tank. It has the consistency of heavy clay. The paste is spread onto steel trays, preparing it for the final dehydration. Conveyors carry the wet pigment into the drying tunnel, where temperatures are carefully controlled. Under the heat lamps, the moisture is driven out, causing the paste to crack and harden. Hours pass in seconds as the vibrant paste transforms into rock-hard chunks of concentrated color. Emerging from the oven, the pigment is now stable, but it's too coarse for use. The dried rocks are dumped into a high-speed pulverizer to achieve a microscopic grain size. Blades spinning at supersonic speeds shatter the rocks into an ultra-fine dust. The result is a cloud of pure carmine E120 powder, floating in the air chamber. This dust is so fine it behaves like a fluid, drifting through the collection pipes. It fills the shipping drums, a concentrated powder where a single pinch can color gallons of water. Labeled and sealed, this is the pure grade product, destined for the food industry. But before it leaves, it must pass the rigorous standards of the quality control lab. A tiny sample is tested for solubility. Notice how aggressively it disperses in water. Digital spectrometers verify the purity, ensuring no trace of the original insect body remains. From a gray bug to a red powder, The transformation is chemically absolute. Approved drums are palletized and loaded, beginning the next leg of the journey. It's sealed in the dark, the pigment heads toward a destination you know well, the candy factory. Rolling down the highway, this truck carries enough dye to color millions of treats. We arrive at the confectionery plant, a place of noise, sugar, and speed. Here, massive copper kettles boil clear sugar syrup at dangerous temperatures. The carmine powder is unsealed, ready to introduce the signature color. Just a small scoop is added to the boiling mix. A little goes a very long way. The dye swirls into the sugar, creating mesmerizing ribbons of red. Within minutes, the entire batch transforms into a uniform, deep crimson syrup. The molten candy is poured out to cool, a waterfall of hot red sugar. Mechanical arms fold the taffy, aerating it while keeping that vibrant color consistent. It travels through sizing rollers, thinning out into a long, continuous rope. High-speed cutters snip the rope into bite-sized pieces faster than the eye can follow. The candies tumble into the polishing drum, sounding like a hard rain. Inside, they rub against each other, smoothing out rough edges and gaining a shine. The finished product is jewel-like, translucent and perfectly red. The packaging line moves at a blur, wrapping hundreds of candies per minute. As sealed for freshness, the bug-derived dye is now ready for the consumer. Boxed up, these candies hide their biological origin behind a glossy wrapper. But candy isn't the only customer. The cosmetic industry is also a massive buyer. Here, the same powder is mixed into a white wax base for luxury lipstick. It blends seamlessly, creating the classic deep red shade that synthetic dyes struggle to match. Let's look deeper at the science. It's the carminic acid molecule that makes this all possible. In the lab, centrifuges spin samples at high G-forces to separate impurities. This separation ensures that the final dye is hypoallergenic and safe for consumption. Interestingly, carmine is pH sensitive. Add acid, and the red shifts to a warm orange. Add an alkali base, and it shifts to a deep purple, giving manufacturers a spectrum of options. For mass production, the factory uses a spray dryer, a tower standing 3 stories tall. Liquid dye is atomized into a microscopic mist at the very top of the chamber. As it falls through hot air, the droplets dry instantly into perfect spherical particles. A cyclone separator at the bottom spins the air, flinging the heavy powder to the walls. The airlock pulses rhythmically, releasing the powder without breaking the vacuum seal. This lower concentration lake powder is bagged in bulk for large industrial clients. Robotic palletizers stack the 50-pound bags with perfect... Wrapped in plastic, these pallets are stable enough to survive international shipping. One of those pallets ends up here, a yogurt manufacturing facility. White milk and cultures flow through the pipes, meeting a stream of liquid carmine. Static mixers blend the two, instantly creating the strawberry color consumers expect. Without this beetle dye, your strawberry yogurt would be a pale, unappetizing gray. The cups are sealed, locking in the freshness and the color. We also see this dye in textile houses, used for high-end natural fabrics. Wool fibers soak up carmine greedily, bonding with the proteins in the thread. Historically, this exact process was used to dye the red coats of the British Army. When lifted, the wool is saturated, dripping with excess water, but holding the color fast. Drying racks stretch endlessly, filled with crimson yarn, waiting for the loom. Up close, the color has a depth and warmth that synthetic chemical dyes simply cannot replicate. But all this industry relies on the silent, slow work happening back at the farm. Under the starlight, the cactus grows, providing the nutrients the next generation needs. A female beetle lays her eggs, ensuring the cycle of life and business continues. As the sun rises, the farmers return, ready to harvest another crop of gray gold. From lipstick to soda, from candy to clothes, the cochineal beetle is everywhere. It is a strange symbiotic relationship between a tiny insect and the modern industrial world. The final stop is your local supermarket, where the end result sits on the shelf. When you reach for that bag of red fruit chews, you're holding the end of a long chain. Flip the bag over, look for natural color, carmine, or the code E120. In the cosmetics aisle, the packaging is more expensive, but the source is the same.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm excited to try these.
That shade of red represents luxury, yet it was born in the dust of the desert. It is the perfect convergence of nature's biology and human vanity. At the movies, sipping a red slushie, we rarely think about what we are consuming. But if we could rewind time, that slushie would take us back to the factory and back to the bug. As the factory lights hum in the twilight, the machines never really stop. From high above, the factory is just a speck in the vast green ocean of cactus. It all starts with the beetle. It becomes the powder. And finally, it becomes a moment of joy. This is nature's secret ingredient, hiding in plain sight. Subscribe and click the bell so you never miss how your world is made.